Welcome to the Pathways to Purpose podcast, where we explore stories, ideas, and people who are redefining health and community. I am your host, Chaminie, and we are joined here today with Dr. Steve Osguthorpe.
Morning.
Morning. Who is the founder of RaproCell, and Mr. Arun Gandhi, who is the founder of IIS USA and Creative Wellness, and Dr. Gadre, who is the founder of the Creative Wellness line of Fizzy products. Thank you guys for joining.
It's a pleasure.
So my first question is to all of you. What personal or professional experiences do you have that motivated you to start your respective products?
In my case, I was starting to see a number of breast cancer patients that were coming back with recurrent breast cancer. Well, they had gone through chemo, radiation, surgery, plastic surgery, and 18 months later they had a recurrence, or 24 months later they had a recurrence. And they were telling me that they were not going to go through treatment again. The treatment it just wasn't going to happen again. At which point my wife and I started talking about all of this, and she said that there's just got to be some better way. Well, I got together with several different colleagues, and we found a study out of the Amazon rainforest for a product, Graviola, that seemed to have ATP, androstenedione 5-phosphate inhibition. And if you can inhibit the ATP, you can kill the cancer that starves. So we started doing research after I went to the FDA and applied for an IRB. And the culmination of that research is the product RaproCell.
Amazing.
Thank you.
And Dr. Gadre?
Basically, what I have noticed, when we compare our lifestyle versus our parents' and grandparents' lifestyle, we face a lot more challenges in comparison to the challenges which were faced by our earlier generations. And these challenges, they bring us a lot of stress and strain in today's world. And this stress and strain gets enhanced due to lack of proper nutrition. We are in a sort of a rat race, so most of the time we neglect our diets, we neglect even having proper food. So this gap between what should be and what is the reality led us to think about, can we prepare some products which will be supplements, and these supplements can bridge the gap between what is the ideal diet and what the gap between the ideal and the reality can be bridged up. Another reason, and most important reason, was the COVID. The COVID period was basically a very bad period for worldwide. During this particular period, people started thinking as to how will I be able to enhance my immunity? How will I be able to prepare my body to face the viral or other infections which will hamper my normal health? So this also led us to development of newer immunity boosters and use of herbal ingredients to boost up the immunity as well as enhance energy.
Thank you for sharing. And Mr. Gandhi?
There is one thing is what is happening, what has happened in 1,000 years or even 100 years. The other aspect is that what is available for last 5,000 years, starting 5,000 years, what is available today. So is combining with all the ancient studies, knowledge against the technology. So we are talking about different types of solutions. When we combine all of that, no one can challenge the outcome. So if it is the outcome has not happened, it is obviously because or for the wrong reasons. So we are determined and we are positive that we have a solution and we can do it. It was not like whether we can, whether if was not in our dictionary in our at all. So we decided that we have decided to make that impact in the world in positive direction. And with how do we, okay, where do we begin? So again, it came with a strong determination and passion. And the determination and passion cannot be completed without infrastructure, without knowledge, without science. So we need to build up all angles and implement. So that's what we do so that we are credible. So I can say anything, we can talk for 1,000 years, 100 years, anything. Ultimately, it's what my credibility is very important. I should be believable and make sure that it is happening. So our approach was more towards on a realistic factor as well as other resources, infrastructure, our approach, our direction, which is the most important part. So we switch everything in a different direction. So that's how we know that we will be doing it, we are getting it done, and most importantly, in our lifetime. So that's the whole approach.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
I have a follow-up question for Dr. Osguthorpe. I know you mentioned graviola as a key ingredient. Are there any other ingredients that help support that immunity and mental clarity and detoxification that you mentioned?
The totality of the formula is approximately 136 different items. And within that group, they are assigned to 3 different legs. One is a complete vitamin, mineral, and amino acid designed for an adult that will help with your bones, your mental clarity, your thyroid production. Metacamine 7, calcium, and D is osteoporotic, so you build bone instead of lose bone. Another one is the acetogenins, androgen tri-5-phosphate, or the graviolas, along with the other botanicals, help kill cancer cells. If you inhibit ATP, you can starve the cells to death. And the last one is a detox. So it completely flushes out your body of all the accumulated, uncirculating waste that you've accumulated over the years. So all combined, you're working on your disease, your mental acuity, your bones, your health, your energy, everything, all in one packet.
That's awesome. It sounds like a very comprehensive product.
Thank you.
And Dr. Gadre, why did you choose a liposomal supplement versus the traditional capsule?
As far as Fizzy products are concerned, the delivery system is one of the oldest delivery system, and the first Fizzy product was manufactured in 1932, even before World War II. But still, afterwards, the product remained only in few categories. Now, whenever somebody is talking about, or when somebody is thinking about taking a supplement, the basic thought was it should not be felt as if it's a drug. So, supplements need to be fun product. That means you should enjoy taking it rather than you are required to take it. So given this scenario, when we decided to get into nutraceutical and health dietary supplements, we selected effervescent as a technology because it is not that very common. This approach led us to provide the products which are fun products rather than a necessity product. And the moment you move from a necessity to a fun product, your acceptance, which is again a psychosomatic way of looking at, or the body reacts to the product, we realize that this delivery system will help people, specifically young generation, to go for the product rather than taking it as a medicine, but taking it as a fun. They can have it, or they can even call it as a fizz soda also, which may be even a nutraceutical soda, which they would like to take it. That's the reason we concentrated on fizz product as a basis.
Yes, I've taken it myself, and I notice it's not, it doesn't feel like you're taking a supplement. It just feels like a nice carbonated drink that has some flavor, but you're still getting the nutrition portion of it.
That is basically the way one looks at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for both of you, are your products designed for long-term use, or is it really only something that you should cycle out when you need it?
We have about 20 years worth of studies so far, and some of the people have been on them for 16, 18 years. We have not found any contraindications to date. We haven't found any side effects for long-term use. The only proviso is if you're pregnant or lactating, nursing, it is not designed for that. And if you are under 12 years old, it needs to be under close supervision because you're still growing and developing. And we're trying to inhibit growth and development. So you don't want to have the two competing.
That makes sense.
But you can take it long term.
Perfect. And how about you?
Basically, our approach towards these products, we're combining the current technology and ensuring that whatever is presented has got good taste, good flavor, which enhances the acceptance. So what we did, we basically experimented in various combinations. Like these combinations were the herbal extracts coupled with maybe the vitamins, amino acids and even enzymes, which becomes a newer way of taking everything, calling it maybe as a decoction or something which is combination of several ingredients together, so that one should not be required to take several ingredients differently. That was the approach, and that's the reason with whatever the, I won't call it as a research, but it will be more of a development of products rather than anything involved per se, because it was not something which was not available. Everything was available. We just combined it together and presented it in a acceptable form. Delivery system which you can take it. See, basically again the major reason as to any effervescent product has better bioavailability even in comparison to the normal product. There are several studies which are available, and there are scientific reasons also. One reason is whenever you are taking a pill, you don't know what is going to happen in your stomach. But when any effervescent product, when you put it in water and you see some action, there are bubbles coming out, and these bubbles or these action, whatever is happening around, enhances the acceptability of product. Given that acceptability is enhanced, when you take it with higher absorption and higher bioavailability, your effects are much better in comparison to the same. That was one of the criteria how we decided on to getting onto it.
And Mr. Gandhi, how did you decide to bring on these products into the Creator Wellness space and offer it to those customers?
My always decision begins with, I hate to put it this way, that of course the product efficacy is the ultimate thing. For me, my bottom line is there are two strong factors, two strong considerations. One is the efficacy, which is facts and results. And other thing is the individual human being who has created that. That because any product, any company without the basic character cannot reach that level of excellence, levels of impact. So it's a combination, these are two strong, powerful tools in the world. And when you start with that, you guarantee the outcome, and obviously, it goes beyond that. So that is the core consideration. And of course, after that, we add our own resources or our approach, but the core foundation are these two are the core foundation, and then we take it beyond. Obviously, when these two powerful tools are available at your disposal, your ability to implement is multiplied big time. So that is the criteria. We begin with that, and then it's endless. Your infrastructure is the key factor. I mean, I can have all the. Today you got every product, every resources are available to the different level. You take technology, you take the ingredients. We have that. But where we lack is these are the core, the factor, foundation. These are all foundation. Like when you, for example, if you want to have happiness, it should start with so many different core consideration. Then you can't just say, I'm going to do that, I'll get this one. You get the result, it doesn't happen that way. So we had a totally different approach where we combined all factors, all pillars, and came out with a fantastic outcome.
For listeners who are trying to find the best supplement to take, what would you recommend that they look for? Whenever they look at a supplement company, what kind of research do you recommend they look at, or what information should they be looking for?
I would look at the research that they've done, as you indicated, make sure that it's done with an IRB, make sure that the cohort, the group, is large enough that it's statistically viable. It isn't 4 or 5 people, that doesn't mean anything. And it is the reputation of the company. Where in the world it's coming from is very important. A number of years ago, there was a rather large problem with vitamins and minerals and amino acids coming out of China. And they found that they were stuffed with sheetrock dust, which caused a little bit of a problem. So all of those have to be taken into consideration. Something that's made in the United States is pretty safe. Something that's made in India is pretty safe. Something that's made in Bangladesh, I don't know. I'd probably avoid that one.
I think actually that would be also a question for you, Dr. Gadre, because you know more about the India side of testing products. Do you know what kind of safety measures they take?
Basically, today's everybody is seeking some sort of evidence. So, evidence-based nutraceutical is what people are trying to look for. Basically, Arunjit's approach was, as he has put it, that there has to be efficacy. Now, this efficacy in case of well-being products cannot be expressed in terms of only the specific results, but overall well-being or overall approach towards the product has to be that it should not only give a pleasure, but it should also help body to reach to the level what it is desired. Like immunity. Immunity per se cannot be measured, but then immunity, the moment you feel less fatigue or the moment your prevention to the attacks of maybe even normal cough and cold also gets reduced, that is building immunity, which is again a evidence based which can be called as. That's the way we look at it, not necessarily specific but on a generalized basis.
So this question is for everyone, but what advice would you give to listeners that are trying to build their healthy habits now that it's, we're in January and they're trying to live healthier lives? Like, what advice would you give to them? We can start with you.
Jeez. Well, first, I think they need to examine their eating and their eating habits and the foods that they're taking. As both the gentlemen intimated earlier, what we're eating today versus what my parents ate and my grandparents and my great-grandparents ate, we are eating, for the most part, very unhealthy foods. They're processed to the point that there's hardly anything left in them. They are filled with additives that a lot of them actually come from a can of oil as they're processed. The nutrient value is diminished to almost nothing. The additive value is extremely high. Sugar, stay away from sugar. It really is difficult to do it. So you have to read the labels to see what's in it, as Dr. Cruz said. Determine what's in there. Stay away from things. If you can't pronounce the word, you probably don't want it in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the labels, you go, what in the world is this? I can't even pronounce it, let alone know what in the world it is, and I'm going to put it in my body? I'd say no. Fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, fresh meats, fresh baked goods, everything fresh, as fresh as you can get. Wouldn't you agree? Yes? No?
He's threatening you, okay?
No, I will take it on that basis. He is cautioning. I used the word on that particular basis. Now I have a question. If you have to, or if you are required to take a supplement, what do you look into it?
That's a good point. Excellent question.
Because what we are thinking, specifically Dr. Siv with his research getting into a specific product, or what we call it as our development which is getting into a product and not necessarily research. We project a product which again Arun has got a specific way of putting it across. As a consumer, what do you look into it?
As a consumer, I would normally look first at what I am lacking in my own diet of what needs to be the focus. So I know with the Creator Wellness line, there are specific supplements for heart health, for managing insulin, for all sorts of things, brain health. And so for myself, I would look at, am I lacking in a certain area that I need specific supplementation for? Hopefully I have a well-rounded diet that I am getting my basic nutrients, but if, for example, my diet is terrible, there are certain companies that are trying to be the one-all. So this is, you take one supplement for everything, address all of your health issues. So I think it just depends as a consumer. Are you looking to supplement your whole overall health, or do you have specific needs, specific thing you're lacking in?
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Good answer.
Thank you.
An informed consumer. You're a rare commodity.
I mean, I hope that, when listeners are looking at supplements, it is coming from, like you said, they're looking at the research that's been done, the studies, and not buying into the marketing portion, because I know there are very nice looking supplements that, might catch the eye, but might not provide really the nutrition that they need.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at it from a scientific standpoint.
Now look at the ingredients and the quantities.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at some of them, you'll see that there isn't enough quantity, enough milligrams, or however they're specific or measured, to actually do anything. But it's in there, and they can claim that it's in there, but it isn't high enough to do anything.
That's an excellent, big point.
Yeah.
They claim.
Acidophilus, 50,000 acidophilus is nothing. You've got to have 5 or 6 billion to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But they sell 50,000, hell, they sell 5,000. I mean, that's not enough for a rat to have any effect on its digestion. So look at what the quantities are within the ingredients.
And that's helpful for people to hear, because most people wouldn't have that knowledge of how much they need of a certain ingredient for it to be effective.
Well, if you look on our website, you'll see that the ingredients in RaproCell are listed individually, and how much is there, and why it's there, and what it does, and if there are any contraindications.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important to understand that. And those are on the website for all of his products.
See, I'll tell you one thing, if I may.
Please? No.
Okay. Then all the more reason, I'm a defiant person, so if someone says no, I do it. Thank you for saying no. Okay, the bottom line, I'll tell you, is today you go anywhere in the world, the knowledge that you are given has got no basis. It is, when I say no basis, I might be exaggerating, but it is more towards commercial level. If you see any company, Walmart or any company, some of the best companies, their criteria is first the commercial angle. Other criteria are second priority. So what we did is that we are decided to offer the finest planet on the world. So, credibility. If I am going to Walmart is trying to say, I will give an example. Now, I'm not going to get what Walmart is, I'm going to get only, as he said, 10% of what they are claiming. And that makes all the difference. So this is the, coming back to our approach, real solution. The real solution is offering the best, giving the best information, credibility, efficacy, all that combined. So that makes from this a totally a game changer approach. So that is to answer your question, that will save, for example, water. We have launched Medi tablet. Imagine how much difference can it make in the impact in the world? How much? Amazing. RaproCell, how much impact? Is the Fizzy product, how much impact? So each product is a game changer. We sell a game that as a diamond, not as a commodity. We do not treat those products as a commodity. So that is the criteria, your approach, selection, all those factors are put together, and then you come out with a winner. And obviously, as he said, research. I have to be credible. I can't just give any crap. I can't make some nice packaging, I can't do that. I will not do that. So it is a combination of your credibility. For me, credibility is ultimate. So our priority is credibility. So when you have credibility, other things follow. So these are all how you implement. Now one was interpretation, other one was implementation. So between all those factors, you are guaranteed of an outcome. There you go. There you are answer.
I know we can talk for hours about these
I'm not going
projects.
to do that.
One thing we will just mention on this, that whenever Arun was talking as far as the products are concerned, his intention of talking to us and even selecting the product was based on whether it is really essential as one part, and second, whether it is going to give the desired effect, to what extent it is going to be. It should not be a sort of so-called cosmetic effect that you feel like. So his angle of looking towards product, or even when we offered basket of products to him, his basic intention were, as he rightly putting it up, on three specific things. Is it essential? Is it basically going to help? And consistency as far as the results are concerned. That was basically his briefing to us, let me be on that particular basis. So rather than what we would like to sell, his interest was what will be really essential and then should be sold. That was the basic purpose, a holistic approach which you can take it up as far as IIS is concerned basically.
The criteria is very important. What is the criteria on your selection? And that goes in the product, ingredients, the gentlemen, human beings who are part of it. Like I always say, a company can reach up to a point, but what takes it to a totally different level, world-class level, is the character of individual involved. And that's where I'm so gratified for this gentleman part of IIS.
Well, thank you guys for taking time out of your busy schedules to
Thank
join
you for
us.
having us. It was my
Thanks,
pleasure.
and although you were hosting it, we asked you question. It was only from the point of view because we wanted to have a frank opinion from somebody who is having some experience and some knowledge as far as what is really required and how consumer looks at it. Thanks for getting to the exact point what we were looking out.